Hello everyone, tonight we're going to learn about factoring trinomials. What I first would like for you to do is remember how to multiply binomials, and that looks like this. X plus 1 times x plus 3. When we multiply that out, we like to use a Punnett square, and you get x squared plus 4x plus 3. So if I asked you, what are the factors of x squared plus 4x plus 3, well, you should say, hey, it's what we just multiplied together, right? Because that's what a factor is. It's whatever multiplies to get you a number or expression. So yeah, that's the factors. So how in the world do we get that? Well, that's what I'm going to show you here in this video today. So first of all, you should know that standard form of a quadratic looks like this: ax squared plus bx plus c. So when I'm talking about a, b, and c, I'm talking about a is the coefficient of the x squared term, the quadratic term, b is the coefficient of the linear term, and c is the constant. All right. So if a equals 1, then what we want to ask is we want to ask ourselves what two numbers can add to get b and multiply to get c. Well, why would you want to add to get b and multiply to get c? Well, so just real quick to build some intuition on this, if you look up here, when we multiplied this, those middle two right there, the 3x and the x, that's what we added to get 4x. Okay, so you notice the 1 and the 3 add to get 4. Likewise, with the other term here, the 1 and the 3 multiplied to get a c. 1 and 3 multiplied to get a c. So if we can find two numbers that add to get b and multiply to get c, since a equals 1, see a equals 1 right here, there's nothing in front of it, then we've got the whole trinomial. Let's try this. So if you get stuck on this, one of the tips is to list the factors of c, and I'm going to list them in pairs. So c is 6 in our example. So 1 and 6 is one factor pair. Another factor pair is 2 and 3. And maybe you can already see which of those adds up to get you 5. It's going to be the 2 and the 3, which means our answer, our factors, are going to be x plus 2 and x plus 3, since 2 plus 3 equals 5, the b term right there in the middle. Let's just double check that. So I'm going to multiply x plus 2 and x plus 3. So I get my Punnett square, I get x squared, and then 2x and 3x and 6, and sure enough, these middle two terms right here, the 2x and the 3x, that adds to get us the 5 that we want, and so that is correct. The 6, the 3 times 2 gives us 6, which is the third term, and that is also correct, and we get the trinomial that we started with. Let's try one more of those together. We'll try a few more together. I want you to try listing the factors of c. Well, 1 is the number. The only factors of c are 1 and 1, so the answer has got to be x plus 1 and x plus 1, and you can double check that by multiplying that back out. I would like for you to try the next two on your own. So list the factors of c if you need help, and pick which ones will add to get you that middle number. And then write down the factor. All right. So have you figured them out? If not, you can bring those to class and we'll work on that, but I'm going to continue on the video. This next problem you see here, we have a negative in front of the 2, which means that we need to add to negative 2, and we need to multiply to get to positive 1. So let's do that. What multiplies to get to 1? Well, it'd have to be two negative numbers, right? Negative 1 and negative 1. So the two terms, the two binomials, would have to be x minus 1 and x minus 1. And you can check that by multiplying those back out. This next one is a little trickier because it has several factors. Negative 12 is what we're trying to list the factors of. So I'm going to start listing those. We could have negative 1 and 12 because those multiply to get negative 12. You could also have negative 2 and 6, negative 3 and 4, negative 4 and 3, negative 6 and 2, and negative 12 and 1. I believe those are all the factors of negative 12, all the possible combinations. And if you look closely, we need to have it add up to negative 1. So I'm going to pick negative 4 and 3. Because those two add to negative 1. So my final answer is x minus 4 times x plus 3. Go ahead and try this last one on your own. All right, hopefully you got that last one. And the hardest kind of problem is if a is not 1. I'm going to start off with giving you guys some pretty basic ones with only a few factors, and we'll build up to more difficult ones later. So my recommendation is to guess and check with a Punnett square, and it helps if you know, kind of can narrow down your options to which possibilities there are. So that's what we're going to do right here. If you list the factors of a and c in the problem, that shows you which combinations of binomials could be there. So for example, a right here is 2, so the factors of a are 1 and 2. C is 3, so the factors of c are 1 and 3. That means that our answer has to have a 1 or a 2 in front of the x to start, and a 1 or a 3 at the end. So one combination that's possible is 1x plus 1. This is a 1 in the beginning, and then a 1 in the end. And then we also could have, multiply that by 2x plus 3. A 2 in the end, and a 2 in the beginning, 2x, and a 3 at the end. Okay? Another possible combination is if we switch those. If we have 1x plus 3, and we have 2x plus 1. Do you see how I got those from A and C? What I'm going to do is I'm going to guess and check by multiplying these out and seeing which of them gives us the original trinomial. So I'm going to try this first one. I multiply 1x plus 1, you can just do x plus 1, times 2x plus 3. And it's really these middle terms that I care about, because I know the first term is going to work because we listed the factors, and I know the third term is going to work because we listed the factors. And lo and behold, I really meant to pick the wrong answer first, but I happened to pick the right answer. That's all right. 2 plus 3, 2x plus 3x gives us 5x, so we know that we found the right answer. Yay! So what is it? What are the factors of that trinomial? It's those right there, x plus 1 times 2x plus 3. I did make a mistake. It wouldn't be a Mr. Newman worksheet without some mistake somewhere. So you see right there on this next one, that should say 7x. Go ahead and fix that. We're going to list the factors of A, they're 1 and 3, and the factors of C, which are 1 and 2. And I'm just going to write down the different combinations and try multiplying each one. So we could have that combination where the A's, the numbers in front of the A's are 1 and 3. And then we could flip them where we have, again, 1 and 3, but this time the 2 and the 1 switched places. You see that? And those are all the possible combinations of A and C. So let's try the first one here. When you multiply it out, I know the top left and the bottom right square are going to be correct. And we get 3x and 2x in the middle. That does not add up to 5, or that adds up to 5, that does not add up to 7, so I know this cannot be correct. One of the nice things is if you use pencil, you can just erase this here and guess and try the other one. You notice I just switched my C's right here, so I'm going to try 2 with the 1 and the 1 with the 3x. So I multiply those out and you get 6x and x, which adds up to 7x. So I know that this must be the correct answer. For this next problem, I'm going to list the factors for you. So A is 1 and 3, but you notice we have a negative here. That means that the C's, the things that multiplied to get to the C, they both have to be negative. -1 and -5, those multiply to get you +5, but when we combine them, you'll see in a second, they add to get the correct number in the middle, a negative number. So the two combinations we could have x minus 1 times 3x minus 5, or we could have x minus 5 and 3x minus 1. I want you right now to try this one on your own and figure out which one is the correct answer. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys how to do one last kind of problem. It's just a little bit trickier, but the same idea. This time, we have a negative in the middle again, so we need to be careful about how we list C, but A, 8, has 4 factors. There's 1, 2, 4, and 8. C, the number 1, only has 1 pair of factors. It has to be negative because of the negative in the middle. We need it to add up to a negative. So -1 and -1 have to be the factors. Because there's multiple options for A, we're going to list 2 different kinds of problems. One is where we use 1 and 8, since those multiply to get us 8y squared. And the other one is where we list 2 and 4. You can switch them around, but it gives you the same answer in the end. So those are really your only two possibilities. Go ahead and multiply those out and figure out which one works. And now you're going to try this last one on your own. Thank you for watching.